Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble.
Gambling is a very serious business.
Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Look, if you're listening to this show, you've probably been to a casino or two. For all of those hoping to save a buck, we have got the Queen of Comps coming up for you. That's right, we got Jean Scott. She's written another amazing book called A Frugal Gambler Casino Guide, where she shows you how to lose less while visiting a casino. Not only does she show you what games to play to stretch out your dollar at a casino, but also how to take advantage of the Players Club benefits and the comp system to get the best value during your visit to a casino. After that, we're going to have a mailbag where we answer your questions, so stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of July 24th, 2023. PokerStars US announced the launch of its first ever summer series at Live Hotel and Casino Philadelphia. The PokerStars Summer Series starts on August 24th and continues for 3 weekends until September 10th with a $1 million prize pool up for grabs. Buy-ins range from $80 to $2,200, and players can also win seats via PokerStars online platforms. The new Queen Baton Rouge will be unveiled to the public on Thursday, August 24th. The property, formerly Hollywood Casino in Baton Rouge, is moving from the Mississippi River to dry land and into a 100,000 square foot space which will house a casino as well as dining and entertainment venues. The project has a price tag of about $85 million. And finally, if you're a fan of the television show Hell's Kitchen and you're in Connecticut, get on over to Foxwoods Resort and Casino. The iconic restaurant brand opened on the property and features a dining area that can seat up to 260 guests, a chef's counter, and a 40-seat private dining room. This is the 6th location for Hell's Kitchen in the United States, including restaurants in Las Vegas and Atlantic City. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
Well, don't take it too hard. I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, too.
Stupid? What do you mean, stupid?
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here. You know, for those of you who listen to the show, you know that I'm from New Jersey, so I've been around casinos all my life. But after reading our next guest's book, I am looking at casinos in a whole different way. The name of the book is The Frugal Gambler Casino Guide, and it was written by the Queen of Comps herself, Jean Scott. Jean, welcome to the show.
I'm so glad to be here.
Gee, I got to tell you, this is one of those books where after I read it, I realized, boy, I have missed so much on my trips to a casino. Who would you feel is the target audience for the Frugal Gambler Casino Guide?
Well, actually, anybody that goes into a casino. I always say that people prepare for everything else they do, whether they're going to put money in the stock market or whether they're going to learn a new skill or something. But so many people just walk into a casino and kind of leave their brain outside.
That's a great point. And, you know, I was reading this, and all the way through your book is the theme is you're telling the reader of this book and showing the reader how to lose less at a casino. And I think that's amazing. So how important is it for a person to have some kind of game plan when they enter in a casino in order to stretch their dollar and their playing time and, you know what, their fun?
Well, now you mentioned a very key thing, fun. Now, some people think that if you study something, it takes the fun out of it. Well, in my idea, that if you lose less money and can stretch your fun, then that's the best way to go. Now, I've written a lot of books before, down through the years, and perhaps my main idea was to get people to kind of do a little bit more like my husband and I do, and that is we're skilled gamblers and we make money at this sort of thing. But I finally realized after 33 years, I came to the realization that most people do not want to become skilled gamblers and make that their money making. That's not going to support them in their life. They're mainly in a casino to make fun, enjoy fun. And I just wanted to point out the fact that there are so many things you can do, so many choices. You go into a casino and you have so many choices. And whether you're somebody who's very serious and going to study this whole thing, or somebody that just wants to go in and find the thing that they can do that they like the best, it's a matter of choices, and that I wrote this book so that you would have more choices on what you do in a casino to lose less money.
You know, I think it's great that you opened up a lot of people's eyes, I think, with this book. You make it clear that, you know what, it's great to have fun, but a casino is there to make money, and that they will always try and maximize what you call their edge. And part of that edge is that a player wins, they are paid off at less than true odds. I thought that was an amazing part of your book. Can you explain this a little bit to the listeners?
Well, whatever game you choose, like I say, most casinos are profit-making things. They're a business. They're like you go to the grocery store, and they buy a certain item for a certain amount, and they sell it to you for a larger amount, and that's their edge. And in the casino, they do the same thing. So, for instance, when you have a game like roulette, which is kind of a simple game, the math would say that they should pay off at a certain rate, but they pay off a little less than that. And that's what we call the edge. And each game has a casino edge. Now, once in a while, and this is why we've been able to have very financial, successful activities, is once in a while you find a game that if you know a little bit more about the game and you know how to choose maybe a particular game. Our particular game is video poker. And I do have a whole chapter in my book on video poker. There are some pay tables. You go and see a video poker pay table. There are some pay tables that have a better schedule than others. Mm-hmm. In other words, the casino edge pays you is a little less. Or in some cases, if you really study, you can get the edge over the casino.
I got to tell you, that really opened my eyes. And now, I love the way you explained it, because it was very easy for the reader to really comprehend what you were talking about. And you give some terms which are really important, I think a gambler should understand. When it comes to games, you talk about games having a positive expectation and a negative expectation. What do you mean by these two terms, and why are they important for anyone spending their money in a casino to know about?
When the casino has an edge over the player, and I'm writing this book from the player's point of view.
Yeah.
If I wrote a book that helped the casinos, I'd do it the other way around. But for instance, if you take a game where the casino has a 1% edge, let's say, that means that as you put your money in that game, hand after hand, if it's on the table or in the machine, the casino in the long run is going to take 1% of your money. Therefore, you have a negative edge. But I want to put out one point there. Of course, if you can find, like we look for, is a game that does not have an edge or the player has an edge, 100% is even. Mm-hmm. If you go to a changer, a bill changing machine, and you put in a $5 bill and you get back 5 ones, that's a 100% game. And I say, if you want to find a 100% game in a casino, go to the changer.
I bet you they're going to fix that too in the future. I bet.
Well, now if you go to an ATM, where you're going to get some money through your bank, and you want $5 to come out, but they're going to charge you a fee, and you only get $4.75. Then that 25 cents, that's a negative. It's a negative expectation to you. You can expect that you're going to lose. The point that I make in the book, though, instead of thinking this, those terrible casinos, they're out to get me, you ought to look at the casino edge as their charge for the entertainment they're providing, and that's the way they want you to look at it. My theory is, though, hey, let's have more fun and not pay quite so much. Most people are going to have a negative expectation when they go into a casino because they haven't studied anything. They don't know anything. And I wanted to make a book that's not real mathy. By the way, I was an English teacher in my former life, and so numbers weren't I worked with words. And even I, who am not a real heavy numbers person, certainly wasn't a math teacher or a mathematician, I realized that there are some basic things that you can do to cut down your losses. In other words, okay, we want the casino to give us entertainment, and they provide all the bells and the whistles and the entertainment and the free drinks and so forth. But there's a cost to them. They're not a nonprofit organization. So when you look at this negative expectation, meaning you're going to lose, don't look at so much as losing, but as paying for your entertainment.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly. Ding dong, Drizzly.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. This portion of House of Cards is brought to you by SCCG Management, delivering technology-driven capability, expertise, and customer and business value to the gaming industry for over 30 years. For more information, go to sccgmanagement.com. For those of you just joining us, we were talking to Jean Scott, the Queen of Comps, about her book, The Frugal Gambler Casino Guide. And tied in with that is the expected mathematical value that you've explained and that you really set out very clearly for a casino player to understand. Can you explain how a casino player can use the expected mathematical value to help them stretch out their dollar on the gaming floor?
Well, one of the chapters I have is called the buffet of casino games.
Yep.
Each game has their own edge, and you can use that by reading that whole chapter. I'm not going to try to make skilled poker or video poker players out of everybody trying to beat the casino, but you can choose a game that has the smaller edge, that your negative expectation is going to be less. And you could choose one game over another. And then there are other techniques. Sometimes there are other strategies you can use on the same. Two people could be playing the same game, but they know better strategies. And therefore, that would decrease your losses. Because the bottom line is, the less of the casino edge you have, the less you are going to lose. And that's the goal.
The one great thing about your book is you have this great chart, I think it's on page 29, that lists the games, their expected mathematical value, and it shows which games you can play longer, which games you will lose less by the hour, and which will help you maximize your playing time at the casino. And I think that was excellent the way you laid that out.
Well, and that will be a surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You go at the very top, and some people think, oh, sports betting, you know, I'm sure that's not a good game. Seems like I lose a lot when I bet on my favorite team, football team, on Sunday afternoon. But the whole point is, even though the house edge, and this is another way to figure it, I use quite a few pages to explain this. This chart boils it down is how much are you going to lose per hour? And if you watch a Sunday afternoon football game, how long are you there usually, whether you're doing it in the casino or at home or whatever? It's about 3 hours or so. So even though sports betting has a relatively high house edge, they're going to take a lot of your money. If you divide up how much you're going to lose among the 3 hours, it's the top of the chart. It's going to cost you about, if you bet a common bet, a little recreational bet for $10, you're sitting in the sports book or watching the game in the casino, you'd put about $10 up or $11 up, and if you win, you're going to get 10. And most everybody will say, oh, that's a little bet. It has a house edge of 4.5%, but your cost is only going to be about $25 an hour. And I've said this many times, if you can't drink enough free drinks during that while you're watching, you're not even trying, you know.
Now, Gene, I want to ask you about a couple specific casino games that most people play. As you said in your book, slots make up over 80% of a casino's revenue, and I guess they're the most popular game on the floors. What should people be looking for when they choose a slot machine to play?
Well, I tell you what, I didn't used to play slot machines myself, and I kind of looked down on people that played slot machines. Oh, you know. But I tell you, slot machines, you want to look for the element of fun. Now, if you go back to that chart that we talked about, you know, where sports betting was at the top of the list.
Yeah, the top of the list.
You're going to, the bottom of the list is going to be, sad to say, dollar slots. And you're going to lose about $54 an hour compared to sports betting's 25 cents an hour. So the first thing when you look at that chart, you think, oh, my goodness, you know, how can I lose less? Well, the obvious thing is go down in denomination. In fact, almost any game, that's one of my main things. You want to lose less in a casino, don't look for the highest. Don't look for the table. Don't look at the blackjack tables where you have to play it. Bet at least $25 a hand. Try to find one that you only have to bet $5 a hand. You may not know beans about blackjack, but you're going to lose less. Now, the same way with the slots, and since it is so popular, and nowadays, since, you know, back when I started riding and was in casinos, which happens to be 33 years ago. I can't believe where that time went. But anyway, there were just reels that were going round and round. And I thought, how can anybody sit in front of a machine? Now, plenty of people did. Even then, they were very popular. Mm-hmm. Now they have the penny machines, which I walk through a casino all the time, and I just see the hundreds of penny machines. Now, I used to say you can play 1 cent on a slot machine, and the cocktail waitress is still going to go around and offer you a drink and so forth. Now, nowadays, I see that a lot of these penny slot machines, you can't just play 1 penny.
Yeah, they're not. I love the fact that you brought that up. That was such a myth that I've been hearing all the time. Well, I just play the penny machine, and I've seen them. I've played them once or twice. I have never just played 1 cent, and I don't think you can.
Well, used to be you could put 1 cent, but nowadays there's like a minimum bet. But it's usually not much. On one of these penny machines, you look and you have your choice. Usually you could play 45 or 50 pennies, or then there's different buttons you can, and so that would be 45 or 50 cents. And then you can go clear up and go to the right, and you can play 300 pennies, which is $3. People don't realize you've got to look at the money and not the credits. Oh, I'm playing a penny machine. Well, you may be playing a penny machine, but you may be putting more money through than if you were playing a quarter machine, but not so many quarters per hand, for instance.
Well, talk a little bit about progressive slot machines. How should a player going into a casino approach them when they're sitting down in front of it?
All right, if you're talking about a progressive slot machine, if you're just there to have fun and stretch your hour, look, that hourly thing, then you're going to want to look for a progressive. Look up and see what the progressive is. If the progressive is around $1,000 and so forth, then you're going to probably get a lot of hits along the way. Maybe you're not going to win, but you're not going to lose so much while you're trying to get that progressive. But if you look at megabucks and it's so many million, now this is all going to come out in the wash. If you can have the option of winning $1 million, then obviously you're not going to win as much along the way. So if you're looking for what the casino calls time on device, you better have very low progressives. Otherwise, if you have high progressives, your money is going to go so fast, it's going to make your head swim.
The chapter on slot machines was such an eye-opening thing to me. I mean, in your book, you make a great distinction with regard to slot machines about payback percentages versus hit frequencies. Why is that important for a player to understand these two concepts?
Well, it's back to that idea of time on device. Some machines, like, let's say you put 100 pennies, $1 in, and you hit real frequently, but you usually, a lot of those hits aren't $1. You can't say they're a winning bet. There are a lot of these, you put the $1 in, and you get lots of hits for 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents. You don't get your $1 back, but you get enough that you're going to have more frequent hits, not more frequent wins. You have to have to see the difference between that. Now, just like I was talking on progressive, there are some machines where your hits along the way will be bigger, but you won't hit them as often. And you kind of have to study machines and kind of learn, what do you want? Do you have a big enough bankroll that you can kind of keep going, waiting for that big hit? So if you don't hit very good for a while, but when you hit one, it's pretty good. Or do you say, I just want to come in and I want to sit at this machine as long as I can. I'm hoping to hit a big jackpot, but in the meantime, I want some little hits along the way. It's just all what you want, whether you're looking for that big jackpot or you want time on device, as they call it.
Mm-hmm. Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
For everybody. Oh. Game starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG. KG, what up?
I got nothing for you, Fox.
Come on. What you got, huh?
It is spa day, Jamie. You don't interrupt spa day.
Okay. Gracie, what's up? I need some tips.
Jamie, you want a tip?
Yeah.
No.
Come on, somebody.
Jalen, what's up, man?
You want a tip?
Yeah. You really want a tip?
I really need some tips.
Don't call somebody on live TV, Jamie Foxx.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway. Marshawn, Barry, holla.
Fox. Hey, what's up with it, Fox?
Listen, I need some tips.
I'm like L.A.
L.A.?
No, Dallas.
Dallas
not the
Dallas?
We gotta get to Miami. How about Detroit? Nah, Barry over there.
You know, I'm gonna call y'all right now. Vanessa, I need your help.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Going with my gut. Let's go with our gut.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Every 40 seconds, a kid is reported missing. Find the Children provides educational material that teaches your kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs are very successful in bringing kids back home to their family. You can help protect our kids and bring the missing kids home safe by donating your unwanted car, truck, SUV, or van, running or not. We guarantee you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast free pickup, usually within 24 hours. Over 2,000 kids are reported missing every day. Call now to donate your vehicle. Donate now to bring these kids home safe.
Call 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
Why, you cheap crook, stealing a baby's bank. It's only a lend-lease. I figured to bet on the 50 to 1 shot and double the baby's money. Why, you imbecile. Why don't you pick 100 to 1 shot and triple it? Oh, okay.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, we were talking to Jean Scott, the queen of comps, about her book, The Frugal Gambler Casino Guide. Now, I want to turn our attention to, which is your specialty, which is video poker. For me, that's always been the game where you throw a couple bucks in while you're sitting at the bar. When I sit at a video poker machine, what do I look to at that machine to determine if this is the game for me?
All right, video poker is my game of choice and has been for over 25 years. We started out playing blackjack, but the pit bosses were getting so that they could look down at you and deciding whether you're counting cards and, oh, my goodness, you know, you might get barred. So we went to video poker, and there's three things. I used to talk about this like a a big writer that was a real one of my mentors. He compared it. His name was Lenny Frome. He wrote many years ago. He compared it to a three-legged stool. And okay, if you don't have one of the legs of a three-legged stool, you're going to fall off. So in video poker, the first thing you look for is the pay table, what the games pays. Now, you can't just look at a machine. You have to have studied a little bit. You don't have to make this up yourself and know the math. You have to read, preferably my book or somebody else's book that told you. So you have to choose a good game. And then you have to know the right strategy. You could have two games that look pretty much the same, but they have different strategies. And then you have to accept, and this is so hard, even though video poker is considered one of the games, like you will lose less at video poker than a slot machine in most cases, you have to realize that it's the long term, and have to know what to expect. So you have to know, again, what your bankroll is. And it goes back to that. If you want to lose less, you don't know the game, you don't know the strategy. Instead of playing a $5 machine and 5 hands or whatever, you go to the lowest denomination you can. Video poker does take a little study to learn how to lose less.
Yeah, in your book, I guess that's the basic one is the jacks or better, correct?
Right. We use the jacks or better.
And the 9-6 schedule.
And the 9-6 schedule, that's 9 credits payback for the full house and 6 for the flush. But, the casinos can do all sorts of things.
I know. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wanted you to mention that, because I was very surprised that, not all pay tables and 9-6 schedules are the same. So I think it's important that you really bring this up to people.
Well, for instance, there is a 9-6 double-double bonus, and then there's a 9-6 double bonus. There's a 9-6 jacks or better. All three of those have different pay tables on the other parts of the pay tables, except the 9-6 part. And so you really, really have to study pay tables. And casinos can be really tricky here. They might have a 9-6 schedule, but they changed something else recently. And I think a locals casino in Vegas, where we live and play, ought to know better. You're used to getting 4,000 credits for the Royal Flush. So somebody finds, here's this 9-6 jacks or better that everybody talks about so good. They changed the Royal Flush to 2,500. Just cut it there, So I always say, watch every part of the pay table.
That's good advice. Now, you also bring up, you can also add value to your casino visit, not only from the games you choose, but the other things casinos offer. Talk a little about players' clubs. What are they, and should a player in casinos join them?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because we've been talking about games.
Yeah.
Do you know there are almost no games in the casino that are positive expectation? Just almost zero. There used to be a few video poker schedules that were over 100%, and that's what we call positive expectation. For the last 10 years or so, we get over that 100%, not just by playing the game, but all the extra benefits. And the biggest benefit for all players, this is whether you're knowledgeable or not, is to join the Players Club, because they're paying you for playing. Whatever you play, each casino has their own Players Club with the different rules, but you get something, points for something that you can rack up, and that helps reduce the losses on the negative expectation game. I have a whole chapter on Players Club.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. Now, and you also listed a bunch of excuses that I've heard throughout the years why people do not join Players Club. And in my opinion, they're really, really worth it. For those who don't know, there are different levels to Players Clubs. What could people gain by joining them, and what are the different types of rewards people can get?
Most Players Clubs have tiers. Sometimes they're named after, like, jewels, diamond tier, bronze, you know. You start out, they don't call it the 10 level, the 10 tier, like TIN 10, the metal, and then you get up to the diamonds. But depending on how much you play, the more you play. Some places give actual free play or cash where you get so many points, and then you can go to the slot club or Players Club, and they'll give you money for those points. But in most cases, it's free play that you can put into the machine. That cuts your losses. Some give a lot, just give you comps, or they give you comps and free play. A typical example, I don't know if you know about this, and it's been a big uproar. Most of the casinos are charging to park at a casino in Las Vegas on the Strip. It's been just an absolute roar in the public, you know. But, for instance, if you join some of the Players Club and you go up maybe 2 or 3 tiers from the bottom, they'll give you free parking. That's an example. In other words, whatever you get from the Players Club, whether it's cash or comps or benefits of any kind, that puts money in your pocket, and then you have more to play with these negative expectation games. So I always say, add the benefits to the game, and then you can get closer to reducing and having a low edge, paying less for your entertainment.
You mentioned something about parking. Like I said, I'm from New Jersey, and anyone who visits Atlantic City, I always tell them, sign up for the cards, because the way New Jersey does parking, say if you go to Caesars on the boardwalk and you show them your basic card, it only costs $5 to park, but you ask for a receipt, and you can go to any other parking lot for a casino that day, and it's free parking. So I always tell them, hey, it's good just for the parking.
And there's some other things that Players Club, people say, well, what good is that?
Yeah.
For instance, a lot of times you go into a buffet, for instance, in a casino anywhere in the United States. If you show a card, many of them will give you a discount right there.
Yeah.
So if you can get a few dollars there, it adds up. That's fewer dollars that you spend on one thing. That leaves you more for your gambling bankroll.
So I've always been asked this. How would someone find out their points on their Players Club card? Most of us don't even know how many points we have.
Well, it depends on the casino.
Okay.
Some casinos, you put your card in, and there's a little card reader, and it might scroll across and tell you how many points you have. Others don't have that, so you would have to go to the Players Club booth and just say, here's my card, I'd like to know. Some clubs have a little brochure, and they tell you what it takes to get certain benefits. 1,000 points to do this, you know, and that's really nice. You don't have to bother the people. Find out how many points you have either from the card reader or ask about it, and then look at that brochure, and it's like a menu, and you say, how do I want to spend my points?
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
You know what I'm saying? For everybody. Oh. Game starts at 20, best slip is empty. I gotta call KG.
KG, what up? I got nothing for you, Fox.
Come on. What you got, huh?
And it's spa day, Jamie. You don't interrupt spa day.
Okay. Gracie, what's up?
I need some tips.
Jamie, you want a tip? Yeah.
No.
Come on, somebody. Jalen, what's up, man?
You want a tip?
Yeah. You really want a tip? I really need some tips.
Don't call somebody on live TV, Jamie Foxx.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway. Marshawn, Barry, holla.
Jamie Foxx. Hey, what's up with it, Fox?
Listen, I need some tips.
I like L.A.
L.A.?
No, Dallas. No,
Dallas?
Dallas not the
Dallas?
best. We gotta get to Miami. How about Detroit? Nah, Barry over there.
You know what? I'm gonna call y'all right now. Vanessa, I need your help.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Going with my gut. Let's go with our gut.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
You lose track of time in those casinos. There's no windows, there's no clocks, and you never walk away from the table when you're on a heater.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. For those of you just joining us, we were talking to Jean Scott, the Queen of Comps, about her book, The Frugal Gambler Casino Guide. Another point you raise in the book is to be aware of certain promotions casinos have. Now, where would people go to see that if they're even eligible to participate in certain promotions?
All right, there's another whole chapter right after the slot club chapter on promotions. And I consider that as an extra benefit. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, that's a part of the players club. Now, if you, in a lot of places, you don't even know about some of the promotions unless you are, and you get mailings from because you belong to the Players Club. They can track your play. They can send you mail, either email or hard copy mail, and they'll say, okay, on such and such a day, there are multiple points. In other words, instead of getting 1 point for every dollar you put in the machine, we're going to give you, it's 7 times points, so we're going to give you 7 points for that. So that's our most popular promotion. Get those players' cards, get those points, and then look for promotions where you can get more points. But there's other things. There's some things that you can participate, like drawings. You get entries. Mm-hmm. There are...
you mentioned tournaments, which is a good thing.
Tournaments, yeah. Oh. And I say tournaments is one of the best things to make your money go further in a casino, because you're looking for things that take a little bit of time. See, you know, if you're playing slots and you're losing $45 an hour on a dollar slot machine, geez, you really need to find some other things to do. There are some casinos that I know about that off and on they'll have a tournament for anybody, like a daily tournament that maybe you have to go and play for 10 minutes, and then you have to go back later and play another session and so forth. These are good time-consuming things that are fun because you have a chance to win. In fact, some of these cost nothing to enter, or they cost just a small amount. For that $45, you could probably enter a tournament that would last several hours. That would be cheaper than playing the slot machine at that time.
Well, Jean, since you're the queen of comps, I have to ask you about comps. When I hear someone was comped, I either think they played a lot of money or really lost a lot of money. How does a person get comped from a casino?
Well, got another chapter on that.
Yep, yes, you do.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this book to my mom. She loves going to the casino. I was like, Mom, this is how you do it. How to go to a casino.
Well, I tell you, Mother's Day just passed, and one of the things, I have a blog, and one of the things in my blog, I said, don't get your mother something that you get her every year and it's predictable, and she says, oh, thank you, but it's not maybe what she really wants. If she plays the slots or anything, goes to a casino, get her this book. It doesn't cost that much.
Absolutely.
And it's going to make money. And getting comps, now the big thing that a lot of people think, they've seen these movies where, James Bond or some of these more modern movies, where they get helicopter rides, they get big suites, and they get gourmet meals. Well, we've gotten all those down through the years, but I tell you, the comps that you get can start out very small, but they start adding up. For instance, we hardly ever pay for a meal in Las Vegas, and we don't play at high levels now. We used to, but there's not as many good games at the high levels. And I tell you, well, I haven't cooked for like 33 years. Let's put it that way. We, at a low level, if you really know how to use the comp system, which that means using the Players Club, because you get almost all your comps through the Players Club, and you can get more to eat than really your waistline can stand if you're in a place like Vegas and you can play often, And even if you go to a casino once in a while, if you look at that menu that they usually have in the Players Club, you will see that you can earn food comps for your points. Now, there is a more complicated system if you're a little bit higher level or quite a bit higher level where you can go see a host. But even then, the host will look at your record and see through the Players Club that how much you played. And the more you play, obviously, the bigger the comps you get. But I like to emphasize the fact that it's just amazing. I think I wrote my first book, 17, 18 years ago. And since that time, that was The Frugal Gambler, just basic things. I've had hundreds of people say to me, I read that book back then, and we're just low rollers, but I learned to use the comp system, and now I get free rooms, I get free food, It's just amazing that if you know. And again, the key is you have to study a little bit. You can't just go in and hope that they're going to fall over you, giving you things. It goes back to people that say, oh, I don't want to get a player's card. I don't want the casino to know how much I'm gambling. Oh, yes, you do. Because that's what depends. That depends on, that's what comps depend on.
Mm-hmm. Gene, I can talk to you all day, but we are running out of time. So tell people where they can get the book, The Frugal Gambler Casino Guide, and any other websites you may have.
Okay, well, my publisher is the Las Vegas Advisor, Huntington Press. So you can go to the LasVegasAdvisor.com, and there I have a blog. Once I write a book, I find bunches of little hints to help you save money in between times every few years. So I write once or twice a week on my blog, and that's there. You can buy the book there. And I should mention that this book is in hard copy, but it's also an e-book. So wherever you buy your e-books, whatever it's Kindle or whatever, you can go online And there it is. And by the way, the ebook is a frugal price. It's cheaper than the hardback. Well, not a hardback. It's a paperback, but harder than the one you open up with paper in it.
Well, that's why they call Jean Scott the Queen of Comps. So if you're a frequent casino visitor or planning a trip to a casino, the Frugal Gambler Casino Guide is the book for you. Jean, thanks for joining us.
Oh, it was a pleasure. And, I could talk about gambling forever.
We're going to have you back because I have a ton more questions.
Okay.
Thanks a
I'll
lot.
Be here.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the radio with House of Cards.